Amazing. So, officially welcome to Tapping into Your Feminine Wisdom. We are recording this. We're recording this week. Welcome, guys. This is so exciting. So exciting. So, we thought week one would start off with diving into our stories, yeah, and going deep on that, and then going through what you guys are going to be receiving over the next 5 weeks, what we're going to be covering. And I guess, yeah, and then wrapping it up with the rest of the opportunities. Yeah. So thank you for saying yes to you, for embarking on your own incredible journey into what it is to tap into your feminine wisdom. We each have our own experience of what this may or may not feel like. This is Chaitanya and my journey of why it is important and how it has changed our life from tapping into the innate wisdom that is always within us. And we ask nothing more than for you to just embark on this beautiful journey with us over the next 5 weeks. Commit yourself fully to yourself, to tapping into this beautiful wisdom that is in each and every single one of you. And then just keep an open mind. Take bite-sized pieces every single day and just do the best you can. Stay kind to yourself and enjoy the process of the remembering and the unfolding, because this is the most beautiful sacred journey that you can possibly be gifting yourself. Totally. Yeah, and then sharing it. Exactly. And it's so important to us, the reason why we're sharing this with you is because obviously when you tap into your feminine wisdom and power, you get to create everything you want in your life, from the relationships to the opportunities to the love and intimacy, the business career, and obviously that's all beautiful and amazing. But then beyond that, once we're thriving as individuals, then looking at, okay, what am I here to share with the world? What are my sacred gifts? And then obviously sharing whatever has helped you along your journey with the other amazing women within your community and within your homes. One of our biggest messages in our life that's really important to myself personally, and I know Chaitanya and I have spoken about this, is if you really want to create this magic and this change in the world, you need to show up in your homes with your children, with your family members, with all those people in your community, in your workplace, as the integrated feminine woman that you are, so that you can come from a place of authenticity, integrity, and alignment. And that's magic. That's just magic medicine right there. Yeah. Yeah, so exciting. So we are so deeply honored to have you here and you welcome. And is there anything else you might have to jump into your beautiful journey? No, so guys, maybe just make sure you've got a pen and paper ready, so that if anything does bring up something for you, writing it down is a really good way to just allow that to move through you and onto a piece of paper, and then you can kind of come back to that a little bit later as well. So get yourself ready. Chaitanya is going to share her journey with us, which is really incredibly powerful and moving and beautiful. And enjoy your life. So yes, my journey. So I'm going to take 28 years and condense into 5 minutes or so. So let's do this. So my journey has been very interesting. Throughout my early years, pretty much from the moment I arrived at Herstory right up to my late teens, I experienced a lot of adversity, from sexual abuse to losing both my parents at a young age. And so what happened is, and this is what happens with all of us, is I built up a lot of masculine layers of protection. And we're going to go deeper into what that actually means and follow trainings throughout this course. But basically, it's really common for a lot of women who have been through a lot in their lives, a lot of trauma, to have this very thick layer of like masculine protection, because it's literally, for me, it was just a way of surviving, like, just pushing my emotions like crazy, overwhelming amount of emotions, just pushing them to the side because I didn't know what to do with them, and just powering forward. And because I was really determined, like I wanted to have a good life for myself. And so I was super my masculine, powering forward, getting shit done. And then the other piece to that, and the protection, was not, it was like the Great Wall of China around my heart, I say. I would not truly open up to men. So my first relationship was actually 4.5 years, and was with a beautiful Balinese man. I actually lived with him in his village for 3 years. Kind of crazy, from 16 to 19 years of age. And he was a beautiful person, such a big heart, but he had a lot of his own issues going on, and that came out as physical abuse in our relationship a couple of years in. And so for me, that really just like thickened that wall of protection around my heart, because I just completely surrendered myself to him. And so coming out of that relationship, I was 19. I returned home to New Zealand, where I'm from, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like where do I even start on my healing journey? But the important thing was that I asked the question, and I made the decision. I decided, I'm not going to be the product of what my past has been. And so I really started my healing journey when I was 19 years old. So a lot of people look at me when I'm like workshops or retreats or something, and most of the people there are older than me, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I get really self-conscious of my age, sort of quite young. But I've been in this work for a long time, and so committed to my healing path. And so, so what started to happen as I was going along my healing journey is I just slowly, it's like an onion. If you imagine an onion, and at the core, the center, like a spiritual onion, and at the core center is our true feminine essence. And we've just got all of these layers, and I just started peeling those back. And as I started peeling those back, I started to come more into my feminine. And so it wasn't until I met my partner, Steve, right now, who we have an amazing little ribbon together, 1-year-old son. He's crazy, but I love him to everything. It wasn't until I met Steve when I was 25 that I really cracked open, or I broke down that Great Wall of China in front of me, and I let him in. And it wasn't easy. It was actually terrifying. It was scary. It took a lot of courage to really open up again, but I just knew within my heart, and because I'd done so much healing like around my relationships with men and my father, that I just knew this man was someone I could trust wholeheartedly. I knew that he was always going to have my back no matter what, and he was just my rock, like the most beautiful man I could ever ask for. And so I really truly opened up to him, and that was kind of, I guess you could say my the first biggest step that I really took to really surrendering to my feelings, even though I had been doing a lot of personal development healing. The second piece of that, and I'm sure you can relate. The second piece of that was having a baby, because because when I saw it, because when I had a baby, even when I felt pregnant, Steve and I, we had already started our business together, intuitive coaching and healing. And a lot of what I was doing was still very much masculine. So I have a lot of what's called D energy without going into personality types and everything, but that is quite a masculine energy. So that served me a lot in my life because it's, driven me to create some pretty awesome things in my life. But what I realized with having a baby was I just needed a whole new level of nurturing, like self-nurturement and self-care and self-nourishment and being able to receive help from others as well if I was going to survive this whole motherhood thing. And especially with being not only a mother but having a business at the same time. And so that's when I found Koya, and this was the final piece of my journey. So I was having a coaching session with the amazing Tammy, Dr. Tammy, who's doing a training in this course. And I was chatting with Tammy, and I just got so much emotion, and I could almost feel like this wild woman waking up in me. And there was just so much energy, and I didn't know what to do with it. She said, "Have you heard of this thing, the nervous Koya?" And as soon as I heard that word, I was like, "What is Koya?" Because Koya is from a vibration language. So Koya literally is the vibration of the meaning of the word, which is the higher consciousness of divine energy, that queen energy. Yeah, and so Koya is a movement system based on the idea that through movement we are vigorous women, that our essence is wise, wild, and free. And so exciting. You guys, as a part of this course, get a online class recorded for you that you can get access to live. But Koya is just so powerful because it really helps us to embody the divine feminine. So it's not just this concept in our head of, putting on some makeup and making our hair nice, so that's beneficial as well. But it's really bringing the energy of the divine feminine into our bodies and moving the way our bodies want to move and coming back into that feeling of honoring and revering our feminine bodies as sacred. So critical. And we're journey. What an absolute journey. And I think so many of us can probably relate to so many aspects of your journey, through trauma, through to one of the three women experience. And it's, and your own healing path that you're about from such a young age that brought you into integrating and making the changes that you wanted to make, which is why it's such a good. Yeah. So, and it's just yeah. Beautiful. Yes, which leads you guys into my journey. So I'm a little bit older than Chaitanya. I've just turned 39, and my journey is quite different to Chaitanya's, which is what makes it all so incredible. Like diving into our feminine energy and our essence and our truth really begins when we make a commitment to ourselves, to honor ourselves completely, and then acknowledge, take responsibility, and then move forward into the world as an integrated, beautiful, feminine woman that we all are. So my journey began many, many years ago as well. I was born into a very traditional cultural background. Both my parents are Italian. All of their families came from Italy. My dad came over from Italy on his own at 16 years old. For those that understand, the traditional cultural Italian background is very far from soft. It's quite hard. It's, these guys vibrationally and energetically, their places, my mom's from Sicily, were invaded over and over and over again. So they built walls ancestrally decades ago. And so I believe, like, through my healing journey, I've been able to understand and I guess throw love upon all of my ancestors, because they did the best that they could with what they knew. So I grew up in a very hard cultural environment. I was the only daughter out of the three of my sisters who really had tapped into her feminine energy from a very young age. I had this unwavering confidence about myself. I had this curiosity that just you could not tame at all. I was bathing stones under the moon by the age of 7 years old, and I just wanted to continue tapping into all of these things that made me feel deeply connected, because I didn't feel connected in my own environment. I didn't feel connected to the people around me because they weren't speaking the language that I was speaking at home. There was all of these little things. I was always called a zingara, which in Italian is gypsy, but it ain't the cute gypsy that we think it is. It's someone who basically takes from other people. And if any of you have traveled through Europe and seen the gypsies, they look quite cool, but their intention is basically to kind of lure you in and then take what you've got. And that's not something that I never wanted to be called, because that's never my intention. So I had my deep yearning for curiosity and mysticism suppressed from a really young age. I was told to, just do as I was told, and I had to just get up and dance the Italian traditional dances and do all of these things, which led me on a very rebellious path from quite young. So I went out and I rebelled, and I made some really incredibly silly choices at the States, as we do, which are all part of our experience. And it's funny because even whilst we're going through that journey, we are desperately trying to be heard, we're desperately trying to be seen and valued for the beautiful, innocent person that we are, but we're just not getting those things. And it's nobody's fault. I've done a lot of healing around all of that, because I understand that our parents did the best that they could with what they had and what they were given, because they weren't given these tools that we have access to, which is incredible. So I was an incredible, crazy, rebellious girl who still had to prove a point that she could be rebellious, be curious, be this gypsy, be loving, but also try and win the love and affection of her family. So by the age of 16, I finished year 12, but whilst I was finishing year 12, I had 3 jobs. By 19 years old, I had proven that I could party really hard, be with I was in a crazy relationship for 10 years. My first partner, we were together from 15 to 25, and it was a very unhealthy masculine relationship as well. There was a lot of things that I guess you don't really know until you're out of it, just how much you weren't in the receiving space. And I always attracted the wounded masculine. I always attracted the man that needed more of that nurturing and supportive energy, but wasn't willing to give that back. Long story short, by 19, I purchased my first property. I basically was on that path of really actioning things and traveling and doing all of these incredible things to still feed my curiosity in life, to really feed that beautiful feminine energy that was in me, but I had to step into the action, which was the masculine. And so that's where the layers started to form. By 25, it was pretty wild and crazy, and I think the party days were starting to take a toll. And my ex-partner and I, after getting engaged and me traveling, we realized we were on completely separate paths. He hurt me a lot, and I decided to finally, I've raised my standards. And the universe met me there and helped me forward with the courage to break that forward and move out into the world and choose myself again, which took some time. But I, through all those years, I was reading personal development books. I was on the journey of self-care and self-love because I wasn't receiving that from somebody else. 26, I met my partner in China, who is just this incredible man who can access his feminine really beautifully. And he showed me what it was actually like to be held as a woman. I was still very much in the action phase. So that's when I started my first salon. And I was working, 6 days a week. Actually, I grew a business, from 0 to hero within 3 months, which was incredible. And I grew very rapidly and had 8 staff, which was amazing. But in order to run a business, the conditioning that I had been told was to just really sort of be masculine. Do, action. If you need to get something done, you need to do it yourself, or get really. So I was like, and I knew it wasn't right. I was carrying coaches and mentors and going to every possible conference I could go to because it just didn't feel right. But I had already created this system and procedures within my salon that had it all very successful on the outside, but inside I was still not feeling it was right. And that continued for 9 years. We had a beautiful baby boy who is now 9.5 years old, and boom, again, another massive invitation to step more rapidly into the feminine. So now I have this beautiful man who was showing me that it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to be raw, it's okay to reveal yourself. But in my mind, it was still in contained spaces, right? It was only like when I could get home to him that I could reveal myself. Because everywhere else I needed to be that successful businesswoman or the boss or, the sister. I had to wear all these roles. So once we had our beautiful boy, he led me on this insane journey of health and wellness because the lead up to falling pregnant was very difficult for us. We went through miscarriages and infertility, and the journey since him, we've had another 5 miscarriages since we've had him. Loads of I've had ectopic pregnancy, cysts on my ovaries, all sorts of things, which I will dive into a little bit deeper in our training as well, because womb healing has been another element of this incredible ability to tapping into my feminine and releasing all of that, which has been incredible.
And all those issues in that womb space and
sign. Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess another step for me was 5 years ago. I drew the courage to step away from my very successful business and start going into I was exploring a lot of feminine work, which was really beautiful. I was learning the art of feminine. I was reading all of the books. I was exploring tantra. I was exploring womb healing, yoni steaming, all of these incredible things. And just one day I woke up and I received this beautiful download and this incredible message that I needed to be doing for my salon. Was great. I was impacting people in a way that was lovely, but I wanted to get back to connecting because it's one of my core values. So I sold my business within 6 weeks, which is just incredible and unheard of. And then I started creating and developing my own brand of natural and organic tox-free skincare and hair, which is better than anything. And decided to go out on the other side of town to the Northern Beaches, which is 45 minutes away from my original salon, and create this eco-holistic, sustainable hair salon that was a space where I could start actually really giving my all. So I could actually go and heal people with the modalities that over the 10 years I was learning, which was Reiki, access bars. I created a modality that we call hair ceremonies in the salon. And it just activated this incredible, insatiable desire to really create and then sit in ritual and be in my creative feminine space. So in a nutshell, in 39 years, there's been so many incredible paths that have led me to where I am today. I'm very much a believer that change is the only constant. So we need to take all of this and digest it and utilize it, and then be open and receptive to new opportunities and new things that could lead us on a new path, but with the knowing that we are worthy and that we are really here to be. By going on those journeys, I was able to shed my onion and lean into a deep sense of remembrance, and just tap into that confidence of who I am, which is beautiful. And honestly, like the difference between running a business from my masculine and now sitting in my feminine for the last 5 years and creating what I've created is invaluable. Like it is completely different, and success is totally different to what I first imagined it to be when I was in that action mode. Yeah.
I just love learning, like hearing different stories. I think it's the connection to and just being able to control. So there's so much from that, like even from the beginning, and I love that you come from our differences in background, that you come from a traditional background, because it's so important to know that it's not just this healing work and the embodying feminine work. It's not just the women who have been through trauma and have built a lot of the masculine layers. It's for everyone because of the cultural suppression and societal conditions of basically persecuting, shaming, making wrong this the feminine qualities of the feminine, which we're going to go into this training here. So much. And really just want to hand here that before we move on to the next slide as well, that we call this tapping into your feminine wisdom. But it's really, both of us, we really wanted to make it clear that this is about coming into balance with the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Yeah, because we need both, and every single one of us has both within us, both men and women, and every being.
Yes, and when we acknowledge and respect those energies within ourselves, we can operate more with more ease in this life. When we're needing to action and get things done, because let's face it, we all have careers or jobs or businesses, or are creating our own, or we have children, or we have people who maybe are relying on us to get things done, or we have children. We may need to draw upon the energy of the masculine, which is the linear, which is the doing, and the actioning, and the rational, and the logical, to help move us through. But what we can do when we are in balance is do all of that with some softness. It doesn't need to look one particular way anymore, and with sustainability.
The statistics nowadays of stress, burnout, and heart attack, and all these things.
Adrenal fatigue.
It's because it's totally a massive imbalance to people just sitting in that masculine energy and not the feminine, which is when we come back into, okay, I'm tired, I actually need to nurture, maybe rest, a massage, or I need to receive and fill up my bucket again before I can then go out. So it's really sustainable. It's a sustainable way of living.
Absolutely.
For us and for others.
Because it really does. And as women in conscious relationships, we then can, when we are sitting in balance and in a sense of flow and ease within ourselves, we can bring that into our homes and allow our partners the space to fill up and recharge and tap into their energies when they need it.
It makes the time a lot better if you allow yourself to come into your feminine energy when you're with your partner, because then it allows them to be in their masculine and they're going to find you way more attractive and balance. It's just way a lot nicer. Yeah. Awesome. So we're going to do a rundown now of the 5 weeks and what we're going to, just really briefly, what we're going to cover, just some bullet points. We're going to go super deep on each training in the weeks, in the weeks. So obviously week 1, which is the one we're doing now, we're covering, we all know history, so the conventional history we've all learned, what we call share Herstory. The basic understanding of feminine, masculine, feminine traits of the divine or the disordered beliefs we have got. I'm not sure. Anyway, Jane Diary and Alex's journey into honouring the feminine, the importance of vulnerability, community, and courage, and the introduction to Koya, feminine body, just which I just shared with you.
And in week 2, I'll be sharing deeper insights into the masculine and feminine energies, allowing you a little bit of a deeper understanding on how to understand when you're sitting in your masculine and when you're sitting in your feminine, when you may be out of balance, and how to bring that back into balance. How to honour both the masculine and the feminine, both within ourselves and within like our workspaces, our homes, etc. And then how to live with purpose in alignment for our highest design.
I love that.
Yeah, we should do it.
And week 3, how honouring our cycles positively impacts every area of our life. So the cycles of our feminine body, the cycles of the moon, and the cycles of the earth. Because when we step up with those, we can be so much more productive or achieve more by actually doing less, which is the power of it. Then the 12 feminine archetypes and how to integrate them into your life to come back into wholeness. This is a series of how we're teaching the feminine medicine realm. So really excited about that.
Week 4, I will be assisting you on clearing shame around sexuality. I will be doing some, giving you some practical tools and rituals and guided rituals on how to deep into healing the womb space and how to call and access with divine creative essence. Guys, this practice has literally changed my life. It's allowed me to level up in all areas of my creative energy in my business. I can't wait to share that one with you as well. Yeah.
And then week 5. Learn how to conserve your precious energy. So this is where this is breaking down, and this is so important, right? So looking at where in our lives we're leaking our precious energy. So for example, a huge one for mothers is leaking energy into mum guilt, which is such a prevalent thing in our culture. So there's all these little places that unconsciously or consciously we can be leaking energy. And so I'm actually going to teach you how to be aware of these and then how to apply and conserve your energy. Yeah, love is sacred. Yeah. Mother line healing. So this is a super key piece to embody divine feminine. We cannot embody the divine feminine without honouring our female lineage. Yeah, intentional, sure. It's really so important. And then it also comes into honouring our relationship with the divine mother, Mother Earth, which is super important as well. Yeah. And then bonus training session with Dr. Tammy. Dr. Tammy Jane McKenzie, she's a good friend of ours, Steve's themselves. She's got about 20 years experience in the field of working with women. She's working as a chiropractor. She's like an encyclopedia. So she's going to be going into how honouring cycles affects our weight, hormones, gut health, how understanding our cycles and honouring and celebrating feminine wisdom increases energy, productivity, optimizes metabolism, increases cravings, how to find a natural state without restrictive diets. So it's really the it's basically the effects on our biology, our feminine biology. Yay, which brings us to history versus birth history. Yeah. So,
I guess it's not a surprise that we are shifting, that the world is starting to really acknowledge that there has been so much discord and separation between the roles of the feminine versus the masculine for many, many years. And I know as a businesswoman, I've seen it at every business meeting and thing that I've been to. I've been part of many of our local chambers, in regards to business. I've been a part of the Oz Entrepreneur experience, the Trans Business Women's groups and things like that. And it is so huge. Initially, because I had this unwavering confidence that, within myself as a woman, I couldn't really see it and identify to it. Like I couldn't understand it until I really started to see my sisters around me struggle with it. And then see like the decrease in pay structure, in societal roles, suppression, oppression. We're seeing it massively in countries around the world that don't have access to, I guess, education and things that we do here.
Same human rights even that
absolutely in the Western world. But we, and as awful as it is over there, we're seeing it even within our Western world, where we would think and assume that we would have the tools and education to release all of the shame and the segregation. So now is the time. Now is the time. We're seeing it in leadership around the world now. We're seeing it in New Zealand, and we're seeing it in Denmark, where beautiful women are stepping into leadership roles without the original identity that we used to see. We used to, even Hillary Clinton, she's always in the suits and quite masculine with her approach. God of her for being amazing, or whatever. Yeah. But we're seeing more softness come through with leadership. We're seeing more of a let's come from a beautiful communal tribal viewpoint. This is just my experience of what I'm envisioning. But and I see it. I hold circles for women very regularly, and I see it in that where we're starting to really honor ourselves and respect that now is the time, and that it is our responsibility to start stepping in and releasing this shame that has been the history of where we come from.
100%. So we wanted to share a bit of just a brief overview of the Herstory, which is not and so we definitely encourage you, if you're finding this fascinating, as we do, there's so many books that you can dive deeper. Yes, which we'll put up in the Facebook group. Yeah. But just off the top of my head, Vagina, Pussy, these are titles. Titles of books. Koya by Rochelle Sheep, Rise Sister Rise is amazing. Witch,
Awakening the Wild Woman. There are so many incredible resources.
Yeah, we'll put the stuff in the file section of the Facebook group.
And Brene Brown,
so many amazing books. So, but basically, we just want to make it clear that this is an overview, and it's what we've taken from different books and different resources. And so, don't quote us on exact, facts and figures, because different, you can look in different places and get different information. So, the purpose of this is not to be, we're not PhDs in women history. We're just wanting to give you a background so that you can understand why our present day culture is the way that it is.
Yeah, and why we are so passionate about allowing you and giving you these tools to step into your feminine wisdom. So I guess the history or the Herstory is what we've been able to uncover through the healing of our own spiritual ends or our own intuitive breakthroughs. That's led us to where we are now, and without having gone back through that and doing that healing, we wouldn't be able to be here and share this with you. So it is an important key piece to the puzzle.
Yeah. And so going back, what most sources say is that it was around 5,000 years ago that patriarchal came into rule. And what that means is that basically the masculine was honored and revered, and the feminine, so any of the feminine ways or traits, were shamed, persecuted, wronged. Right, all the things. And so what's interesting is that if you look into a lot of ancient civilizations, it was actually the goddess that was worshipped, and the women were deeply respected and revered, and there were so many beautiful traditions and almost religions, ancient religions, that did worship Mother Earth and nature and the moon cycles and the
yeah, and so many different religions and cultures and beliefs through here, through history, which is pretty incredible when you dig in and dive into this work, guys. It's pretty juicy. But
then 5,000 years roughly ago, patriarchy came into rule, and the theory is that a big part of it was that it was like a battle of religions, and so this is disclaimer: this is not having a go at religions in any way, shape, or form, but the church had a lot to do with this. So basically, there were just certain people within the church that basically they wanted to have the power and following, and so they persecuted anyone who didn't agree with their religious beliefs, indoctrinations. And so if we fast forward to a few hundred years ago, again I'm not going to say the exact date, it was around the 1500s, 1600s when the Inquisition began and the witch hunts, where it was crazy, and it was an estimated 50,000 to 200,000 people. So there was actually some men as well, but mostly women who were persecuted, brutally persecuted for just all everything. But overall, it was for not agreeing with the religious views of the church, the Catholic Church,
going without their confinements, whether it was cultural, religious, societal, like that women used to have a voice up until that time, and then I guess when they started to use their voice to try and bring balance or bring different perspectives, they were persecuted, they were shamed, they were brutalized, attacked. We know the history of the witch hunts and how that all kind of went down. It was horrific, it was traumatizing, and a lot of
and we're still doing this.
And still vibrationally healing that trauma. If you are open to, soul timeline therapies or past regressions or anything like that, I know my personal journey of inquiry and sitting in the question has been working with beautiful healers along my journey. Because for me, I didn't have that trauma in this lifetime, yet I could feel the wounds of my sisters so present and so painfully that I needed to understand and articulate why. How is this something that I'm carrying in my body vibrationally, and how can I heal this, and how can I heal and support my sisters through this? And it was uncovering the timelines and stuff by not only reading this, but going on my own healing journey and seeing that maybe there was a lot of that underlying and still vibrationally within my body that I needed to work on.
It's all of these things that happened. They didn't just traumatize those women at one time. They've been passed down, and that trauma, it's almost like an imprinted in the feminine psyche and feminine collective consciousness bred, you might say, and has been passed down throughout lineage. And this is why we still see things today like mistrust between women, and like a lot of women having like blockages in their throat chakra because because that, even though this is stuff trauma from hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago, we still carry that within our encoded within our DNA, within our bones. The trauma, that fear of speaking our truth, because we literally could have been, it wasn't safe in the past to do so. And I'm so passionate now about, and I'm sure you are as well, about helping women clear that, because our throat chakra is also the chakra that reflects our life purpose. So if we have a blocked throat chakra, we can't express our truth from our hearts, which is doing our sacred work in the world and helping to sharing that with them. Yeah, absolutely. So important, guys. So important.
So, but yeah, basically we're seeing it dissolve now. We're seeing this slight dissolving, and we're inviting you to come in and dissolve it within your circles, so that you can be the expression, so that we can release the judgment and shames that we have, not just from the masculine onto the feminine, but feminine to feminine. So that we can start to unite and co-create together and collaborate and inspire and encourage and support our sisters to be the best version of themselves. Yeah, to be in integrity and authentic, in your most authentic expression.
100%, because we live in a time now where it's safe. Like, it's now safe, and we're so lucky. And it almost feels, for me, it's like our obligation now to our ancestors in the past they lived in a time where it wasn't safe to express themselves, to really honor them and go, I step into my power now and express what they couldn't express. Beautiful. So now we've been talking a lot about the masculine and the feminine and what are they, right? Like, so how do we even, it's like, okay, so you're telling us we're made up of these two energies, or like, what are energies? They're just traits. If we want to break it down into digestible, they're just traits that we have, that every single one of us has. We're both quite intuitive, esoteric, kind of experiential facilitators and healers. So for us, we like the vibration of the word energy, because it really does impact our learning. So for those that resonate, it's the masculine and feminine energies, or they're just traits. So I'll start with the healthy. So yay, healthy. And just a reminder again that these energies reside within men and women. So this is so not about women against men at all. So the healthy masculine traits within all of us are with focused. Masculine energy is focused. It's logical, takes action, problem solving, protective, supportive, linear. Whereas women, we're moving cycles. Feminine energy is cyclic, resourceful, forgets. So masculine energy forgets. So if you've ever been in an argument with your partner and the feminine remembers, and so you're like, remember that one time when there was this and this and this, and you're like, oh, I don't remember. Just have compassion. It's literally a masculine trait is to
because they're moving through it quicker than what we are, because they're solving the problem quicker than what we are, and because they're used to being in that suppressed kind of like, they're just gonna hold the energy, push it down. Then in their healthy masculine, don't do that.
And it actually comes from, like, super quickly, it comes from our 2 million-year-old brain when we were like people. and the men were hunters and the women were gatherers, because men would literally go out, they see the animal, the target, and they get it. So that's why they're very simple-minded, black and white, because they're supposed to be that. They're wired to be like that.
Yeah.
Whereas women, we were the gatherers who would go out and would need to remember, okay, that berry is, right, that berry is poisonous, etc., and would have to pass on that information to the other people in the village. And so that's why we're supposed to remember, and the masculine is supposed to forget. So the masculine is also structured, like good at having those structures, makes big things small. Whereas the feminine is the opposite. So when men and women are fighting, it's a huge, like, what you say, like misunderstanding of relationships when people don't know this.
Yeah.
Is the woman will be like, oh my god, I'm really upset about it, because to her it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the man will say, it's alright, it's not that big deal, like we can fix it. And he's coming from a place of pure intention and wanting to help, but the woman will quite often take that as a thing. So just something to be aware of next time. You might have a discussion with your partner.
So the unhealthy or the distorted masculine energy traits are that they are competitive and fierce, over analytical, over working. They, step into the Mr. Fix-It role as opposed to actually coming from the space of, let's look at all these sides and try and see how you're doing. So that can come into, when they're going into fix it, they love to tinker and get things working again. And I guess in relationship, when they can't fix it,
They
get really frustrated.
Unworthy.
That's right. Some more unhealthy or distorted traits are that they're possessive, aggressive and violent, arrogant, and very rigid.
Yeah.
Which, is just a part of
the unhealthiness.
Yeah.
It's so the beautiful, like the protective energy. It's like the role of the masculine is to protect the feminine while she's like fully like in her flow and creative and doing her thing. But if it's unhealthy, and I've had this in the partner before, it can become like conceited, jealous for it.
Yeah. And if you did go a little bit deeper into this work too, when they've actually been able to measure the masculine energy, and it is really linear, it's very rigid, and it is very straight. And as we were saying before, the feminine energy comes in and it's very fluid. So men like to go from A to B, or A, B, C, D, and women will go like this way and go, oh, A, and then F, maybe,
What if we
and that's our creative, beautiful energy, and that's why coming into balance allows us to have that beautiful infinity way, which when we look into the yogic side of this, it's that kundalini energy that does go through the meridians of our body. So it's actually essential that we have these two that are consistently working alongside each other. But now, just seeing this, how the masculine, when it's healthy, can be logical and rigid and focused, but when it's unhealthy, it's tipping out of balance and it's going into the more aggressive or possessive or arrogant aspect.
And like rigid is in not being like I see
Not
on my
being
partner.
outside.
It's like we've planned out our day the night before, let's say, and then that day begins and something happens that throws us off course. And for me, I'm like, okay, cool. What else can we do? Because I'm in the flow state, and he'll get really frustrated and just like, no, like it needs to be. I'm gonna do it this way, and I can't do it.
And I'll admit, I've often been in my masculine in that space, and sometimes the roles will reverse, and hubby will just be like, let's just go with the flow, and I'm like, no, we were meant to do it this way. But you can catch it so much quicker when you're in the work and in the practice of this. So when you do see yourself coming out of alignment, you can just catch it really quickly, take responsibility, and then move forward.
And 100%. And the way to be like, you may be thinking, well, how can I be in the healthy side and not the unhealthy? And what I've experienced is it literally just happens naturally as you go along your healing journey. So the more that you heal yourself, the more you're going to come into the healthy side of both feminine and masculine energy. Yeah. Awesome. So let's take a look at the feminine energy. So healthy. You can do that.
I'll do the health.
It's
hard doing the thought. I'm like, no. So the healthy or the more positive, aligned feminine energy traits are that we're creative. We are intuitively, innately creative beings. When we tap into our energy, like I know from a creative business owner, not only with hairstyling and brand development, but just even in the home, like I love to just get in and just create. We know we create and birth babies and with life. It's just beautiful. We're more adaptive when we're in our feminine energy. We go with the flow. We're open to change. We're more caring. We're more caring and nurturing. We can sit in different spaces with all individuals from a more empathic, heart-centered space, which is really beautiful. We connect more to everybody and everything, to our environment, to Mother Nature, to our animals, and we come with a more community-focused approach. We want to go
we
in.
love sitting in circles. Yeah. Whereas men will just want to go and make man caves.
And just, self-reflect. We love sharing because as when we're in that healthy feminine energy, when we do share, there is power in that healing. Like it is just such a beautiful process. We remember, and going back to what Chaitanya was just saying, back in our time all day, we needed to know where our boundaries were as well, so that we could remember and tell our men that this is where we got all of this from this time, let's go over here, we can't go here, all of that. And as women and as mothers, like I know that I'm the one who has to remember where his keys are, his shoes are, all these types of things on the daily. And I don't get angry about it anymore. I just kind of go, actually, I'm seeing this over there. It's actually kind of cool because it's just like, how do I remember all of this stuff? Like there's just so many files out there.
Sometimes I tease Steve, like we've lived in this house for 6 months. And he still doesn't know where the fucking Tupperware container go.
We've been here for 7 years, and it's insane. We do, when we're in our feminine energy, make small things big, and that can be in a positive sometimes too, right? So we can turn what would seem a small token of appreciation into something that is really beautiful, like turning gratitude into something so profound. We're more playful when we're sitting in our divine feminine. We, our hips move more. We just want to have fun. We want to play. We want to release, and we're more intuitive. Definitely, when we're feeling balanced in our feminine energy, we are feminine in a great way. Unstoppable, like it's beautiful. And it's also, even though we want to connect and be in community, in our healthy feminine, it's still healthy and okay to just be in your own space and fill your own cup and know when you need to nurture yourself and restore your energy, replenish yourself and lean deeper into self-care, which is beautiful. Yeah.
And that's such an important balance. It's just like anything you see in nature, like we've got to breathe in before we breathe out. And we don't ask, the plants in our garden to be blooming flowers or 12 months of the year. They have the time where autumn leaves fall away and they close up for winter to grow again. So nature gives us many answers. If we want to live sustainably and not burn out, not have all of these health issues, not realize things in our lives, we've got to be sustainable when it comes to the balance of these two energies.
And Chaitanya is going to go deeper into this in her cycles section. But every month, as women, we are invited to step into our feminine energies and the balance of that every single month, so that as we lean into perimenopause, which is where I'm sitting, and then menopause, like we've already been invited to access all of that information so we can move into that release flow. But because we suppress these things along the way and we don't allow them, we tend to not lean into our feminine energy as we start to age and go into the next phases. But we'll go into more of that later. The unhealthy, distorted, the unhealthy.
Yeah, so within the feminine, so low self-worth. And that also links into weak boundaries and people pleasing as a chaos. So our flow when it becomes too much and out of balance can become a bit just all over the show. Like we've got 12 different projects on the go and we're just like we're just running around like endless chickens. Needy or over emotional. Unhealthy feminine.
Yeah.
Manipulative is the unhealthy feminine. Over emotional. Twice. Judgment and criticism, secretive, dramatic. So yeah, manipulative is I never thought that in my life that I was someone who could be manipulative. But I actually learned that with the over emotional manipulation, we fall into these unhealthy traits as well when we are when certain needs aren't being met. So when I was a child, my need for love and affection wasn't being met, and so that carried through to adulthood. That's just an example. In the form of me being needy, going needy to be able to get those needs met from my partner. So that's just an example of how that can show up in your life, what that actually means.
You may see it with little girls already, for those moms that are raising young girls, we can see that we can quite easily step into that manipulative space. And
I know what
and there's so much on positive parenting and stuff that can help us as mums to educate them and I guess lead them into a healthy and more balanced state of that little energy and how to sort of project that in a nice, more soft kind of way. There's a lot more on that to go into. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So this brings us to the final piece of this training. Is there anything else that you want to add before
No, I think guys, just sit in this information for the week. Really sit in. We've shared our stories. Maybe go down and write down and really sit and reflect on your story, your journey, where you come from and where you would like to go. I think it's really important, I know on my journey of leaning deeper into my feminine and I was doing my Reiki many years ago, like we're exploring and resonating in all of these fields, and you've resonated in this course because there's a piece of you that is ready to unlock and dive in and go a little bit deeper. So if you can go into just the remembering of your journey up until now, and then journal a little bit on what you're wanting, where you're wanting to go, because that's when you can integrate the information and really digest it in a way that's going to positively impact you and then be of value to you, whatever that may look or feel like. So the sharing, and if you're brave enough, share it in with our safe container. Yeah, share it in the container so that you can, I believe, like when we hold circles and workshops, and Chaitanya and I have been able to facilitate that together as well, and we can see that just in this sharing, we create a declaration that we are ready to open and receive, and that is a piece of our feminine puzzle, and it is such a sacred, beautiful piece that is, the vulnerability and the courage to lean in and receive and know that you are worthy of, everything that's happened to you up until this moment is a piece of your story, but it's not your whole story. you get to change that. Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess just going through that and then find where maybe you've been sitting in your masculine. We've got a task for you under that.
Totally, no, 100%. And yes, reiterating what Emily suggested, this is a safe container, this is a sacred space for you to show up and share. And if any of you know the 6 laws of influence, which is human psychology 101, the law of commitment and consistency says if we declare something in front of people, we're like, people say different percentages, but we're like way more alike than 20%, more likely to actually follow through with it.
Yeah.
So this is why it's super important. Post up in the group. You're going to see at the end of each week. We're going to give you tasks which will involve in some way, shape, or form showing up in the group and sharing with the sisters.
Share with the sisters. You know, each and every one of you has said yes to you, and we need to trust that Chaitanya and myself are going to hold this container. We value this as a very sacred, safe space, and we just ask that you respect every single person's needs and
judgment-free zone.
Coming in, we are all here to support one another, and ultimately we're here to support and encourage you into this space and into your tapping into your divine feminine energy. And we are all different and we're all unique and all individual, and whatever we bring into this group is ours. And yeah, so please take it as an invitation, because by committing to this, it will be the beginning of your growth in this space.
I want to say, like what we touched on with the sister wounds that were created in the witch hunts, with women turning against each other and not feeling safe, and because of fear for getting, persecuted. Like they can actually be healing by something simple, showing up and being vulnerable and realizing that other women, there's no judgment and you can be vulnerable. So the first task, super exciting, that you're going to be sharing with us in the Facebook group is to set an intention for what you would like to receive from this 5-week journey and a commitment to how you're going to show up in the Facebook group. Which is what said as well. So there's homework for you. The reason we give you homework is because there's another percentage, you're like 70 or 80% more likely to remember this wisdom you're receiving from us and also bring it into your body. If you write it, speak it, move with it, bring it into the physical. So super important.
So important. And I know throughout my journey over the many years of doing courses and working with mentors, it is through all of this that we really get to integrate it, like we were just saying. So really make sure it's really hard, and we understand and we respect that time is of the essence and that it is very, very precious. So commit to the time that you're setting aside for yourself, whether it's waking up that extra 20 minutes earlier and creating a ritual around how you're going to set your intention for the next 5 weeks. I will be guiding you on how to create those rituals later down here, but if you can maybe share what your rituals are and how you're going to set that intention. Intentions are what allow us to really create the changes. They allow us to step deeper into our feminine. Intentions that it has been a game changer for me in my whole life.
Some say it's the most underestimated thing in our lives is the power of intention. Yeah, very powerful. So, and don't worry if you don't know like any rituals or anything. Literally just write it down. Post it in the group. We'll go through that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is fun. I can't wait to see the transformations that are, and hear the transformations and meet all of you. Showing up. Yay! That concludes week 1, guys. All the best on your journey, and we look forward to seeing you in week 2.